Hi, I'm Ted from Everything Attachments. We're going to go over what makes the best connections for your hydraulic implement that you might put on the front of a tractor, like a grapple or any other type of attachment. At Everything Attachments, we use a WR long kit simply because they've been doing them the longest. They're the most educated on getting a true custom kit for your tractor instead of just a kit that comes with a bunch of fittings and you kind of have to figure it out. Nothing's perfect, but out of all I've looked at and seen, the WR long kit for the average consumer is much easier to use, but uses higher quality components, and we're familiar with them and we know how to help you a lot easier. Worst comes to worst, WR Long will even talk to you direct. So we're going to go over first for our regular grapples, even on our like Wicked 55, it's our most popular grapple. We still like to use a 1/2-inch coupler. This is an ag style coupler, and this will be what's on the back of basically every tractor as a remote valve since the 1930s. It's easy to do. You can do with one finger versus a flat face coupler. It's really, really stiff.
Shoot it at me.
And then when you go to plugging it in, it's way harder to plug in. This is designed to be in a housing that's on a skid steer. It will hold this collar, so all you basically do at that point is shove the line in and jerk the line out. So if you've got the $500 housing, then obviously on a skid steer, it works great. But here's what you've got to look at. When you're trying to put this thing together, it's usually got a line-up pin and ball. So if this is plugged in together, which is a lot harder to do, and this ring is moved, you're not going to be able to undo this. I don't care what you do. It's not going to undo. And then when you do line it up, it's still, you're going to have to completely release this line and use both hands, one to hold. Even if you've got a bracket here, then you're just trying to do both, and it's going to pop you. You can see how much pressure that you're having to use to hook them up. So we're not a big fan for agriculture stuff on tractors with flat face couplers, and we'll go back over that in a minute. So one of the hardest things to do is, so what we really like to do, we love to put a WR long kit with every grapple. Everybody's problem goes away that second. Now, you've bought your third function kit from your dealer. Problem is, the dealer, if you call the dealer, he doesn't know even what to tell you for us to put on it. It gets worse than you think. That being said, if you deal with us to start to finish, it's going to be easy. Other than that, you need to get the couplers that we use from the dealer, or we sell you an extra set of couplers that will screw on to what you have. So with an agriculture coupler, and I had a customer yesterday actually that got mad at me because I asked him if he had a nickel in his pocket to measure, and he thought I was just making fun of him and hung up on me. But anyway, so if you've got a 1/2-inch coupler, and that's the female, you can see this one has a ball in it. It could also have a poppet in it. Now this is a little bitty one, but it would look like that. It looks like a nipple, and it's also called a poppet. That works fine. They will interchange with a round ball. If it's a 1/2-inch agriculture and you take a nickel and you've got some wiggle room in there, that's going to be 1/2-inch. It's got roughly 1/8 of an inch of clearance on there.
You can spin it around.
It spins around. You can drop it in there.
Yep.
That's going to be 1/2-inch. If it's 3/8, it will go in. But look, just barely. It is a tight fit. It will go in. It's a very tight fit. That's a 3/8. If you've got a 1/4-inch coupler, number one, you've got too small of a coupler. I don't care what tractor you've got, and I see 1/4 inches on every OEM that calls me in or uses a lot of the Summit stuff. Almost all of them are using 1/4 inch, and usually flat face for some reason I'm unsure of. But as you can see in the center of that, the ball is like only 1/8 of an inch. When you push the button on your tractor, you're shoving every bit of the oil from your complete pump through this little coupler. So what you're really doing, it will not all fit through that hole. So you're back pressuring your control valve on your loader and making your relief valve dump into your tractor. So that does two things. It slows up your progress on how fast your grapple works. It backs up the pressure and pushes it back into the tractor, which causes heat. But for every pound of back pressure you have is a pound of pressure you're not going to get to use. So if you're using a 1/2-inch coupler and you've got 50 pounds of back pressure on a 2,000 pound system, you've still got 1,950 pounds to allow that cylinder to do all its crimping work. If you go with this 1/4-inch coupler and it's backing up 1,200 pounds, you're only going to have 800 pounds of workforce. So you're killing the tractor and you're killing your workforce. So anything to do with 1/4-inch should be left alone in our world of anything above 4 gallons per minute. Okay, so when you buy a grapple from Everything Attachments, we go through a little bit of trouble to make mistakes and things fixable as easy as possible. When you get a grapple, this is a lead hose that will come off a 55 wicket grapple or our other grapples, and that is 3/8 pipe, and it will fit the 3/8 coupler perfect. Okay.
There we go.
So there you go. So, but a 3/8 is fine. It will work. It's going to be more expensive than a 1/2-inch and a little bit harder to plug in than a 1/2-inch. So that's up to you. But so if you do a 1/2-inch like we do, we put this thread, it's a double threaded bushing. It's 1/2-inch pipe on one end, it's 3/8 pipe on the other. So it screws onto our 3/8 line, which would let you use a 3/8 coupler, or it'll let you use a 1/2-inch coupler now. So when you get it and you've got this, and decide that, oh, I made a mistake, I need 3/8 couplers. Okay, so if I had pressed a 1/2-inch onto this line instead of a 3/8, as you can see, it's easy to go up, it's hard to go down. So you're going to end up with something like this to go down. Same way here. So you've got a 3/8 that screws on here, and then you're going to use your little 1/4-inch right here, which is just way too small of stuff for your tractor and your pump and for your hydraulic system to like you. So you end up lengthening that and kind of making a mess of it. There's nothing really good about that. That's why we include the extra sleeve to go on the 3/8 where you can go to half. So always remember, going up is easy, going down is hard. So whether it has a poppet like that or a ball like that, and that is a male 1/2-inch, either of those will interchange. I don't particularly like one over the other. They both work. What I will always recommend is go to the 1/2-inch. Excuse me, that's the, that is the 1/2-inch. We will always recommend to go to the 1/2-inch. The bigger they are, the easier they are to hook. When you get down to this flat face, and I don't know why a lot of the OEMs and other people do it, this thing here's tough. It's meant to be on a skid steer, working in the 5,000 pound pressure range. You'll also find them on excavators. They're great for that, and that's what you need. But if you're on a farm tractor, you're going to be under a 3,000 pound limit. In a lot of cases, you're well under a 2,500 pound limit, and these are rated at 5,000 and up. So you don't need that. You're paying more for that, and you're going to work harder at getting that pin and everything lined up and how strong these are to release. And I get people that say, well, I do have the flat faces, but I can't get them uncoupled. And that's because it simply takes a lot more than you think. And usually you've got a little oil or dirt on your hands, and then that just makes everything worse. So we try to send it out with these two pieces. Every one that we send out, if we're able to control it, and we do it with WR long, you're going to get a 3/8 to start with. We're going to bring it up to 1/2-inch. We're going to put the 1/2-inch coupler on here.
Oh, is that the big one?
It's right here. We're going to put the 1/2 inch coupler on here. Then when all this is threaded completely together, it's going to shorten this up where you're only lengthening that just a little over 1/2 inch. And as you can see, these go in and out really easy, and they're no problem. I don't have a 1/2 inch male right now, but they pop out real easily. I do have a 3/8 one, so we're going to do the 3/8. They simply go together that easy. When you pop them loose, they're that easy. All right, now I'm going to do a 3/8 flat face.
Oh, good luck.
So first I've got to line the ball up. Now I've got to shove it in. Now I'm going to release it. Okay, so you get the idea of how much more pressure there is to mess with these 1/2 inch flat faces or 3/8 flat faces, or just a pain in the rear for me. The second problem is everything I just showed you is common to me, and we use as common a fittings if there is such a thing, and a Pioneer was always the number one 1/2 inch coupler that everybody used. Now that we're getting these from 10 other different countries, mainly China, just because you say it's a particular size does not mean that it's a standard. It's their standard. They make both ends of it, they'll fit, but it won't always fit an American company's one, even the ones that come OEM on a tractor, they just don't match. So you will do yourself a lot of favor to either let us provide both sides of the coupler if you've already got your third function, or let us get you the WR Long full third function kit with full service and everything you need to make life easier in the future. So at Everything Attachments, we're happy to get you the right couplers. Please try to make it easy on us to help you in the future.